Hey guys, Pie Guy Rules here, and we finally have some footage of these Nickelodeon upcoming TV movie continuations of 90s Nicktoons TV movies, whatever you call them. We gotta have a name for these things, right? I don't know, like Nick Boots or Nick Tinuations or 90s reunion I don't know. We gotta come up with like some unified name to call these things. Anyway, San Diego Comic Con happened, and so we got a pretty meaty, like 2.5 minute trailer for Rocco's Modern Life, Static Cling, which is coming in 2018, as well as an animatic that was narrated, kind of giving us some extra details about what the Jungle movie is going to be about and the structure. Narrated by Craig Bartlett. I'm pretty sure is the name of him. He's the creator of the show, and he is the driving force behind these two TV movies. So I'm just going to kind of give my general reaction to what was presented. So first up with Rocco, because I think that was the meteor one. I'm very, very impressed by what they had to show. When you first, I think when a lot of people first heard the idea that there's going to be this Rocco's Modern Life continuation movie thing, we kind of have, there's two ways they could do it, right? We're thinking like, all right, is it going to be like set in the 90s? Is it going to be Rocco's 90s life basically, and we'd be making fun of the 90s, looking back at the 90s, and making fun of all that because not making fun of all that the sketch comedy show in the 90s, but you know what I'm saying. Or they could basically set it in current year and have Rocco's Modern Life be literally the modern life of 2017, 2018, what have you. And judging from the trailer and like literally everything being said about this, it is indeed set in current year, or at least the modern times that is right now. And it is explicitly about Rocco, Filbert, and Heifer adjusting to these modern times. And this is also some information that was gotten from like interviews with the cast. So between the trailer and the cast, I know that the plot is going to be that the three of them come back from being in space for 20 years. I don't remember specifically why they were in space for 20 years, but it has something to do with one of the last episodes of the show. I'm trying to remember. I feel like maybe it's the one set in the future. I don't know. There's an episode, something or other. Anyway, point being, they're back, and Filbert and Heifer love all of the new technology and the trends, and they just eat all of it up. But Rocco is nostalgic. Rocco is afraid of the new technology. He's apprehensive, which is, I think, like the defining characteristic of Rocco is that he's apprehensive about everything. Laundry day is a very dangerous day. So Rocco wants to cling to the old stuff, and that's what they kind of said in the interviews, and you see it in the trailer of how the two of them like eat this stuff up, and Rocco's like kind of in the background, like, wait, what is all this stuff? And the trailer is great. I don't know if the trailer is explicitly footage from the special or if it's like promotional material. Like the Positivity Monday thing was for Sponge Out of Water. If you remember that, like sometimes they'll make these little clips that kind of tie into the actual product, the actual movie or TV movie or what have you, but they're not explicitly like from the TV movie. You know what I mean? But I would believe it either way, because it kind of looks like it sums up the whole plot of everything. At the same time, it could be something that fits into the very beginning of the movie, because the whole trailer is kind of presented as like a remix of the Rocco's Modern Life theme song. Like the purple finger is there, the bushes are there at the beginning. Several other things that happen in the original intro are there but modernized. So it might just be the opening of it, might not be. There might be information out there that confirms it one way or another. I haven't heard anything yet, so just presenting that. But yeah, we do know that that's the plot, and also something about Rocco wanting them to reboot the Fatheads, which the Fatheads were the show within a show in Rocco, most famously from the Wacky Deli episode. And if that is the plot, and it seems like it is, I don't know how much of the plot is just like on that specifically. The fact that we're having a 2018, I think this is going to come out, a 2018 like reboot that is explicitly about reboots and nostalgia, and the word reboot is even like in the actual thing is an arrow that says reboot, which I don't know if it's the correct term. I guess it is the correct term. Even if it's not a continuity reboot, it's still a continuation, but it's a reboot in that like literally everything's gonna change because Rocco's in this new modern world. Um, but yeah, the fact that it's like a commentary on all that is really clever, and it's the exact sort of thing that I believe that they'd be able to pull off with Rocco. Um, in terms of what's presented, what I do like is the fact that even though there's all this modern technology, it still holds very true to the aesthetic of Rocco, right? The houses still have like the weird like loopy thing overhanging on them. The drones, right? Instead of being like straight and like boxy and stuff, they're curved because it's very much the style that Joe Murray originally went for with the show, which at this time kind of screams 90s, which is interesting because you have this modern technology, but it's kind of viewed through this like Rocco 90s kind of aesthetic to it. You know what I mean? It's got the look of that. It's almost like how people in the 60s imagined the future, how everything was like chrome and stuff, in that it's not actually how the future ended up turning out, but it's a very very stylized look that that kind of lends itself to science fiction. But the point being is that it still looks very Rocco despite everything being new and different. And in the time span of the trailer, they're able to cram a ton of stuff in there. There's tons of coffee shops being everywhere. There's O phones, which is like iPhones, and this continues the excessive use of the letter O in everything in Rocco's Modern Life. Really, really Big Man has a gritty reboot. There's 3D laser printers. It's great because they go to the comic shop, and this is like the thing. Not that comic books don't exist anymore, but comic books aren't like anywhere near as popular as they used to be. So Heifer and Filbert go over to it, and there's like a booth or something, and I'm like, what is the joke here? What are they doing? Is it going to be like a tablet, and you're reading comics on your tablet because that's a thing? But no, it's literally 3D printing a comic book. It definitely seems cool and exciting, and not something that's just a cheap cash in. It's something that's very aware of what it is. It knows that it is something that is only born out of nostalgia. Unlike Hey Arnold, Rocko's Modern Life isn't a show that really needed another, a continuation. It's not like one of those shows where fans are just dying for more. But it is one of those shows that I think was really good, and I think it also holds up very well today. Even though some of it is a little outdated, a lot of the commentary is still just right on point. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this. And considering this is the first actual footage of any of these reboot continuation movie things, I think it sets the bar really high, and the animation itself looks good. Obviously, that's something that is not going to be like it can't look the way it did because Rocco was from a time before digital inking and all sorts of other things that happened in the animation industry that made animating a lot easier and cheaper. But it still looks really dang good. It looks like some nice quality animation. So yeah, and of course they didn't have to really go far to find the actors because two of them were on this show. And one of them was Crocker on the Fairly Odd Parents, and then the Big Heads were both voiced by one guy. So, yeah. Interestingly, though, Ed Bighead was missing from the intro there, so that kind of makes me wonder. I mean, I'm sure he'll be in it, especially because we know Mrs. Bighead's in it, so they definitely got the voice actor. But I do wonder if Ed is going to play a bigger role, or I don't know. Maybe they could go a dark twist and make Ed actually be dead or something. Like, I don't think they do that, but I don't know. It's also possible that they could go a little more adult with this. I mean, Rocco was always kind of throwing these like weird jokes that were very very adult and very inappropriate. But it's possible that this TV movie could. I mean, I don't think it'd get like a TV-14 or anything like that, but it's possible it could get a PG. I didn't see anything particularly dirty in the trailer itself, but I wouldn't be surprised, if there were some dirty jokes and innuendo and stuff hidden in the TV movie. Okay, so now the Jungle movie. There's not quite as much to say about this because, the creator himself already kind of is narrating that video. So most of the important details he points out himself. The video is mostly just about the character redesigns, and the fact that the movie is going to be this continuation of the story that was in the last episode TV movie special of Hey Arnold, as well as from Arnold's imagination of what his parents are like in Parents' Day. He noted that the island is similar to what Arnold himself imagined, which doesn't actually make a lot of sense, but I guess is a callback. I mean, I don't know, maybe Arnold subliminally remembers this island. Um, but yeah, the redesign of they show off Arnold, Gerald, Helga, and Phoebe. Um, they all look like good. Like I think the redesigns were a very nice touch. The characters all very much look like themselves. Especially because the trademark parts of these characters, it's Arnold's the shape of his head, Gerald's hair and the shape of his head, and Helga's trademark unibrow. All the stuff is kept intact. It's just modernized like a little bit and tweaked a little bit here or there. Gerald's got like a hoodie now, and it looks good. I don't really have much to say beyond. I think they took very careful care to make these characters still very much look like they did in the show, but just tweak it a little bit, give it something a little bit new. And then the interesting thing that he pointed out at the end is that they showed a very very rough animatic type sketch of Helga, Gerald, and Arnold deep in the jungle, and Arnold is holding something green that's glowing. And I guess this kind of brings up an interesting point, which is this movie going to have supernatural elements? Or I say movie, but it is two movies. Basically, I think the structure is that the first one's going to be in Arnold's city, Arnold's unnamed city, and the second movie is going to be in the jungle itself. That's what makes sense to me, but it could be split up a little bit differently than that. But basically, is it going to have super? Because like the thing about Hey Arnold is that for the most part, the show was kind of this relatively down to earth show about Arnold and his friends being in the what is it, the fourth grade, I think, or the fifth grade, one of those. And the interesting characters that he meets in the city that also live in the boarding house, or just other characters he meets along the way. It's not an inherently supernatural show, but at the same time, there is also a lot of episodes, or a good amount of episodes, that have this weird supernatural element that, like, maybe it's supernatural, maybe it's not. Is it just a story that Gerald's telling, or is it true? And then, the last shot of the episode shows it's true, or is it? And I don't know. The show kind of zigzags the supernatural thing a little bit. But the fact that Arnold's holding something that's green and glowing, and the fact that something has to happen in this jungle, right? It's not just going to be the characters just wandering around an empty jungle. There's got to be some villains, right? There's also got to be some reason that Arnold's parents are still there, presumably, or died there. I don't think it's just going to be, well, the jungle's rough. There's got to be something, and either it's going to be some sort of curse or some sort of, like, I don't know, island natives that are, it's like a conspiracy or something. Maybe this is the big Hey Arnold Lost crossover that we've all been waiting for. No, but I think, I don't know. I think it's interesting to think about. I feel like there probably will be some element of the supernatural in there, but I'm not sure. I don't know. But yeah, this also looks very exciting. But there's a lot less information about this. We do kind of know that the basics of the plot is that they go to the jungle, look for Arnold's parents. It's based on the map Arnold finds in the back of the book in the last episode. And that seems to be about it for information at the moment. But considering the movie is kind of based in some sort of mystery, the mystery of Arnold's parents, it does make sense that they're not going to give us as much information before the fact. And I'm willing to bet that the preview material that we do get in the coming months, because this is supposed to come out in November, the first one, it's probably going to be a lot more related to Arnold in the city. A lot more of the stuff at the very, very beginning of the story that just kind of shows this updated Hey Arnold and what's been going on with Arnold and Helga and all these other characters. I do have to say I am kind of very much excited to see like what they decide to do with Arnold and Helga and all that. Especially because this is they probably won't get another reunion movie, I don't think. But who knows, right? So this could be the end of the Hey Arnold franchise, and this is a chance. It's not too often that shows get this sort of chance where it's like, your show was canceled years ago, but now you have a chance to write a final story, a story that will be the final one. I think it's a very good thing, and a very like cool tool that the writer can utilize to basically make a story that makes sense as a complete finale. You never have to leave any loose ends. You can tie it all up right here. And I hope they do something interesting with everything. So what do you guys think about these two previews we've gotten, and what are you most excited for? And I'm willing to bet for a lot of you it's that Invader Zim movie that we haven't heard like any more details on, but should still be coming. So with that, Pie Guy rules out.